And basically, I take people around for a living and get them drunk in the best city in America for getting drunk, and that is Asheville, USA, North Carolina.
Beer tourism in Asheville and Western North Carolina is just absolutely incredible right now. We really are trying to help quantify this number, and it's a hard one to come up with because who's coming here for beer, who's coming here for the Biltmore, who's coming here for the mountains. You know, I think a lot of times people are killing 3 birds with 1 stone. I think it's safe to say that beer is putting heads in beds.
What's neat is you can come to this town and at any given time there's 100 to 120 different kinds of beers.
When I was growing up here in Asheville, I always knew it was a special place. Beautiful mountains and picturesque city streets set the stage for a happy, vibrant childhood. What I didn't know was that I was living in a booming new mecca of the craft brewing scene. People from across the country were beginning to make the journey to Asheville just to get a taste of what the Blue Ridge Mountains have to offer.
You've got to think that there's something here, whether it's the water, whether it's the people, the culture. There's something that keeps people coming back.
This is a very diverse city. I mean, you know, this whole downtown that we've got here, this wasn't here 25, 28 years ago. When I got here in 1984, these buildings were all empty down here, and they've all kind of come back to life with a lot of artists and crafters. We've got a lot of live music in Asheville. We've got there's just a great folk culture that goes on here in Asheville.
The community here is really free-spirited, and they love beer. That's the most important thing, is that we love beer here in town, and everybody has their own certain favorite brewery.
Being in Asheville with 9 other great breweries, you have to keep your sword sharpened. You have to stay competitive. You have to read up and try different things so that you know what's out there, what's popular in Portland, what's big in California, because it's so competitive here in this town. And that makes it fun.
You know, you can do everything in Asheville, from a simple lager to your most complex smoked porters or sour beers or anything that's on the fringe of the beer scene. It's all here, and it's all good.
We started out, we were the 2nd microbrewery, and now there'll be 12 or 13 by the end of 2012. Asheville's been voted Beer City the last 3 years. We've beaten Portland and San Diego and some of the larger places. So it's gotten us a lot of beer tourism. It's gotten us a lot of publicity, a lot of media. For a town of 58,000, we get more than our share of national attention.
Well, when I first got here in 1984, there wasn't any beer scene here. Nobody even dreamed of a beer scene in Asheville. It was, it's the same kind of beers that you'd find in grocery stores, Bud, Miller, and things like that. There weren't even that many imported beers. And it's evolved a little bit at a time. Who's responsible for the beer scene in Asheville? It's Oscar Wong, the founder of Highland Brewing Company.
I figured that Asheville was a good place because we have a community that's very local. It was a good retirement area, and I thought it would become more like the Europeans, in which each town would have a favorite brewery, and that we would be it. It's a very integrated, supportive community.
Buying local is huge here, and I like to say that it used to be a fad and then it became a niche, and now buying local is mainstream, particularly in a town like Asheville.
And the fact that we have a population that's conscious of that means, 1, we care about what we're putting in our bodies, and 2, they're willing to pay just a little bit more for something that's high quality and uber fresh.
There really is nothing quite like a beer right out of the brewery. And with such a wide selection to sample, it's hard to imagine ever running out of new things to try. But how did all these breweries get here in the first place? I mean, sure, it's always been a great place to live, but what makes Asheville so special?
Good water.
Water.
The water is perfect for brewing.
It's some of the most fantastic water in North America. The rivershed here is one of the oldest in the world. We have an incredible natural resource.
A lot of beer styles require calcium carbonate or other mineral salts, and it's a lot easier to add salts if you're cooking something than to take them away. So it's a very neutral pH, which makes it easy to make a variety of different beer styles from this water.
The allure of the perfect water hasn't gone unnoticed by the craft beer industry's bigger players. In 2012, both Sierra Nevada and New Belgium brewing companies announced they would be opening their East Coast operations here. The new breweries will each produce more than the entire town currently brews. Surprisingly, the locals don't seem to be too worried about their new competition.
Originally, that seemed to be a little bit of an issue, that they were going to steal business away, but after a lot of meetings with the Brewers Guild of North Carolina and Asheville, they have really let everybody know that they're not here to step on anyone's feet, and they are offering us the ability to use their laboratory.
I don't think it'll do anything except improve the whole beer scene around here. Sierra Nevada's already got a big market, and they're going to be making this beer to sell all over the eastern part of the United States, not just in Asheville. It's a 300,000 barrel system, so it's like they'll be selling that beer all up and down the eastern seaboard. And they've already reached out to all the local breweries and connected with them and made relationships with them. They'll have a big lab out there that the local breweries can use. Maybe they'll order grain together or hops, other things. So I think it's going to be nothing but good for the local breweries.
For the entire period of this recession, the only growth industry we've had here in Asheville, North Carolina has been in beer.
Beer is such a strong force here in Asheville when it comes to the economy. I mean, we pay a lot of taxes, we employ a lot of people. There's really a lot to it. And the greatest thing about beer is people drink when they're happy and people drink when they're sad. So in a time where other businesses have been closing and coming onto hard times, we've been hiring more people. We've been having the largest sales months ever.
So this industry has been one of the things that has helped Asheville propel itself forward while the housing market has been crashing nationwide and while the job market has been stagnant, while wages have been stagnant. Here in Asheville, we've been able to develop an industry that's been manufacturing and employing people and paying decent wages, and not only that, but providing a sense of identity to the entire town around excellence, about being able to create something that no one else is creating.
The great thing about beer is that there's never any end to the exploration of it all. You can keep going and you can keep changing and you can do whatever it is that you want. Maybe we don't even know what Asheville beer is yet.
As far as our future, I think the segment continues to grow, and I would say the advent of Sierra Nevada and possibly New Belgium will raise the bar. At the same time, there's no way that we can control the people that are coming into the area. We have to control our own selves. And our best way is to do what we do as best we can and to appeal to the local pride of having been local grown.